Hello everyone. I have a layout for you today for Spiegelmom scraps. I'm going to be using one of the new December sequin releases called Hexa Love, and that's the sequin mix right there. I'm showing you some supplies I'm going to be working with, and I'm going to be working with an older 6x6 paper pad from Prima. This is called Stationer's Desk, and it's from 2014, so it's a little bit older. And then I also have some brand new parchment paper that I just received from the cardstock warehouse that I'm going to play with, and I love it. So I'm going to start by going off camera and die cutting a whole bunch of things. So I have these cute little leaf sprigs, I have some flowers, and I also have these hearts from Sizzix. So off camera I went ahead and I die cut all of those things, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to make these little layered, clustered flowers, and then I'm going to add some sequins to them. And so I'm going to do, I did a couple off camera, and I'm going to do one on camera for you here. I have the die cut flowers. This is an alterations die from Tim Holtz called Tattered Flowers. It's an older die, again, from like 2014, 2015, so not super old. And they might still be in production too, I'm not sure. So all I'm doing is I'm placing the flowers onto my mixed media mat, and I am using a blending sponge to go ahead and blend the edges. I'm using Distress Oxide inks today. So the darker layers for the flowers I blended with Vintage Photo. The lighter layers of the flowers I blended with Antique Linen. And having a mixed media mat makes this super duper easy. You could also do this with stencil brushes if you have stencil brushes, but this was handy right there, and I knew that I could blend real easily on my mixed media mat. In between colors I am cleaning up because the ink will move and smudge. Sorry, Snoopy was letting Morgan know he wanted to eat his dinner. So the next thing we have here is peeled paint, and I'm doing peeled paint Distress Oxide just on the edges of the leaf. So I die cut all these flowers and the leaves from pattern paper from that Prima 6x6 pad. And now I'm just inking up just the edges just to give it a little bit of a green color. I'm going to go ahead and just glue or use my tape runner to layer these leaves all up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the little sprigs of leaves to the edges using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. So if you have not joined us yet in the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group, it is Spending Freeze Month. You can click on the link down below, which will take you to Facebook, and you can log into your account and ask to join our lovely little group. So we are doing a month-long spending freeze. You're going to see lots and lots of older products pulling and getting used out of my stash. And our product focused for January is going to be 6x6 paper pads, which is why I made it a point to pull one out for this video, and I will also make it a point to pull one out for lots of videos this month. This is also a page in my project for my How to Kill a Kit with Style, my project, and now I'm going to go ahead and add these little sequins. So for me, sequins are the perfect little touch. They have a nice low price point. You can get lots of colors and styles, and you can use sequins to really jazz up older supplies in your stash. So I have that 6x6 pad, which is about 4 or 5 years old. I have but my Distress Oxides are new, and my sequins are new. So I'm going to use those elements to kind of freshen up some supplies that maybe I am not inclined to grab and use because they are getting older. And you just kind of lose stuff in your craft room, right? So these are the hearts that I cut. This is amazing. This is a Spellbinder's die, and it's just these like awesome hearts. I love them. They're like the long skinny hearts. They're super cute. I just put a little bit of Antique Linen around that heart, and then I went ahead and glued them together. And now I'm just going to add part of this particular sequin mix that Spiegelmom Scraps is these wood veneer pieces that say love, and I think that they're so cute. So I'm going to go ahead and add one of those wood veneer pieces, and then I'm going to sprinkle just a little cluster of these sequins around that wood veneer piece to help to bring some attention to it and so that it doesn't blend in with what would be kind of darker colors. And so now we have made all the embellishments for our page, and we've done it with some dies and a 6x6 paper pad and some sequins. So super easy to do. These are the photos we're going to use. I have a 5x7 photo and then a small like wallet size photo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my layout directly onto this parchment paper. So this is a parchment paper from the Cardstock Warehouse. And if you're curious about that cardstock, Daisy Scraps, who's on YouTube, is part of their design team, and you can also just go to their to Amazon.com and type in the Cardstock Warehouse, and you'll get all different kinds of colors. But it's really very, very nice quality cardstock. So what I'm doing here is I'm positioning this large photo, and then I'm going to put this small photo, and I'm going to move it around because I want the large photo, the small photo, and that heart that I made to be a little bit of a cluster. And I also want to be able to back my small wallet size photo with a piece of pattern paper to give it some separation from the large 5x7 photo. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to start by matting that small wallet size photo. And I make the mat not even on all sides simply because I wanted certain parts of the design that I was using to show and to peek around the photo. And so I went ahead and just made it so that the parts that I wanted, the parts on the pattern I wanted to peek around, would peek around on the parts of the photo that I wanted to showcase. Does that make sense? Maybe just a little bit. So I put the photo down, and then I realized that it needs a little bit of foam behind it to match up with the foam on the back of the 5x7 card. Now, I will tell you this, because this parchment paper is vellum, and I am working directly onto the parchment paper, I'm trying to hold off on using a ton of liquid glue because I know that it's going to kind of pucker the paper a little bit. And there's nothing you can really do about that because, again, you have to stick to stuff. If you want this to be your background, and I do, then I really kind of had to get it that way, right? Excuse me. I'm still getting over my stupid cold, and I still have a nagging cough. So, now I'm going to go ahead with these big flower clusters. I'm going to try to figure out where I want them to go. I'm going to tuck them in and around the little areas of my layout, and I'm going to kind of create a diagonal line that's going to go from the top left to the bottom right, because these flower clusters are going to be really clustered, and I don't want there to be I don't want this page to be overwhelming. So I'm going to keep the clusters to just around the photos. And I'm going to kind of hold off on gluing them down until right to the end. And that's going to help to make sure that I don't have a lot of that like puckering. So these are Fitzgerald thickers, my favorite. These are gold ones. And I'm just going to put my son's age at the bottom here. This is for the beginning of his album where I have a photo, like a professional photo from Sears taken of him every month. And so I just want those photos to be documented, and they don't really need a lot of journaling or anything. We'll have more journal-heavy layouts as I work my way through this particular large project. Well, it's not really large because most of it's done already. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my flowers. I'm going to glue them all down with a Nuvo Gel adhesive, and then I let everything sit and dry and cure. So I let it sit for a while. I think I walked away, I made dinner, and maybe did a little laundry, something. I let everything dry really, really well, and I think that that's really important because you're working with a paper that is very much like a vellum. And then what I did was I flipped it over and I put tape just on the back where there was already things attached to the vellum, and then I put a piece of just plain white cardstock on the back, and so you have that beautiful parchmenty vellum kind of look and texture, but it's not see-through because I put the white cardstock on the back. And that is going to complete this layout for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to head over to the Spiegelmom Scraps shop and grab some of these amazingly super cute sequins. They're called the Hexa Love Sequins, and you can use my code Sara15 to save 15% off your order. Bye!